Good evening and welcome to the September 12th, 2023 Guilderland School District Board of Education meeting. Would you all please silence your cell phones and stand for the pledge? The Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda tonight we have public comment. Linda, is there any public comment? Thank you. Okay, next we have the consent items. This includes the minutes of October 15th and October 23rd, CPSE and CSE recommendations, and the personnel action. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Blanca, second Rebecca. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Let me interject right here to welcome our brand-new Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Mr. Derek Westbrook, and he's here with his family tonight. Congratulations, Derek. Welcome to Guilderland. As quick as that, it happened.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have information items. First, Superintendent information, Dr. Wiles.
Thank you. I have one item tonight, and it is about what we've been experiencing for the last 4 days, which is the opening of the 2023-2024 school year. And in spite of incredible heat and quite damaging storms, we have had a remarkably smooth opening of school. Our faculty and staff came back about a week ago. We had a great opening day. Our students returned back on Thursday. And honestly, all 7 buildings have reported a very smooth opening. Schedules are working, and everyone is already back at work and well into their new school year. I want to particularly commend our transportation department because they are currently down 7 drivers. However, they are getting children to school on time and home on time and making all of their runs as smooth as could possibly be. And so that's a lot of people doing a lot more than they would normally otherwise be called to do in HOSU, going above and beyond, standing in the pouring rain last Friday to make sure our high school students got on their bus in a complete downpour is just one small example. I also want to recognize Cliff Nooney and his team. We had quite the disaster here late Thursday night when a tree fell on the high school, and we did not miss a beat of instruction. And the tree was removed, and it was quite a remarkable thing. So in spite of a lot of barriers and challenges and trials and tribulations, it's been a great start to the school year. Thanks to all.
Great, thank you, Dr. Wiles. Next, we have board president information. I have 2 items. The first is the NYSBA voting delegate guide. So everybody should have received an email from Deb Sim that has a Google form asking you to vote on these resolutions. And if you look through them, you'll see the one one is from Guilderland that Dr. Wiles had drafted about the pre-K giving precedence to students with free and reduced lunch and speakers of other languages. And if you want to look through those and vote on them through the Google form, then I think it's Kim who's a voting delegate, the NYSBA business. Any questions or comments about the resolutions? Great. Next is the Board of Education policy review. We have a set of policies A through I. So these are up for information. And you can go ahead and read through them. And I think they'll all be up for action.
One of them says, letter E says action. Or we took action on it? I wasn't sure when I saw that.
March 8th.
Maybe that's the last time. Oh, there are updates on here. I don't know if we have to vote on this though, right?
I don't know, I just
It's
noticed
just giving
that it
the
was
background, like
action.
info was on March 2nd for one, and the
I
action
think these
was
were
on.
updated right after the hirings were finished. Is that what it is, Dr. Wiles?
Yes, that was the last time it was updated, and we've had changes since. So
Okay, but it's still It's not an action item tonight.
Not technically,
Okay.
but it will be next.
Yeah, okay.
Same thing with G.
Same thing with G. Okay. Guess I stopped when I got to E.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay, next we have action items. First is school business. I'll turn it over to Dr. Van Alstyne.
Thank you very much. Our first item is a set of 6 service agreements. These are all continuations of existing agreements with services for special education students.
Can I have a motion to accept the service agreements A through F? Gloria, second Nate. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. The next item is an agreement with SMG, who is the site manager of the MVP, formerly Times Union, Pepsi, Nick Arena, for the graduation ceremony in 2024.
Can I have a motion to approve the SMG agreement for high school graduation? Katie, second Kelly. Any questions or comments?
Do we have a date yet?
June 26th.
It's on here, right? June 26th.
Is it?
It's a Wednesday, I think.
Yes. In the morning.
A Wednesday, okay.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
The next is an emergency private transportation contract for 3 McKinney-Vento students.
Can I have a motion to approve the transportation services? Gloria, second Katie. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
9-0.
All right, the next is contract extensions for existing contract transportation. State law allows us to renew these at the designated CPI, in this case 3.5%.
Can I have a motion to approve these contract extensions? Blanca, second Kim. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
9-0.
Thank you. The next item are private transportation contracts for private schools. Contracts are to Raja Group and Star and Strand Transportation.
Can I have a motion to approve the transportation contracts? Rebecca, second Kelly. Any other questions or comments, or any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
This is 9-0.
Thank you. Our next item is a continuation of our existing emergency preparedness agreement with Christ the King for the school to serve as an emergency evacuation site for our district.
Can I have a motion to approve the sheltering agreement with Christ the King? Katie, second Nate. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Passes 9-0.
Thank you. The next item is a bid for minimally processed meat, hamburger. We did this bid cooperatively with Bethlehem Central School District, and we will recommend awarding it to Kilcoyne Farms.
Can I have a motion to approve the meat geographic preference bid? Gloria, second. Judy, any questions or comments? I'm just curious, has it always been with them?
No, it's a new.
This is new.
Renee Heller, our Director of Food Service, worked with them on the bid, hoping to get a better quality and price.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Next item is environmentally friendly ice melt bid award for Site 1 Landscape Supply.
Can I have a motion to accept the ice melt bid award? Rebecca, second. Kelly? All in favor?
Aye.
This is 9-0.
Thank you. The next item is an agreement with Russell Sage for one of their students who's in an educational leadership program to work with the school district as part of their practicum experience.
Can I have a motion to accept the internship agreement with Russell Sage? Katie, second. Kim? Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. And our final item are donations. We have 8 backpacks with school supplies provided by Next Step Federal Credit Union, which is formerly School Systems Federal Credit Union. We received a telescope donation from Carolyn Hillen and a $500 monetary gift from the New York State Technology Enterprise Corporation to the Farnsworth Middle School. The Gibbs was nominated by Brian Hart, a NICE-Tech employee. Brian's married to Sherry Hart, who teaches 6th grade at Farnsworth.
Awesome. Can I have a motion to accept these donations? Nate, second, Kim. Any questions or comments? Thank you to all for all of the donations. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0. Okay, thank you. Next, we have superintendent action. Dr. Wiles?
Okay, thank you. I have several items this evening. The first is the approval of our 2023-2024 professional learning plan. This was before the board for a review at the last meeting.
Can I have a motion to approve the annual professional learning plan? Gloria, second, Katie. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
The next item is the certification of qualified lead evaluators for teachers. This is for our APPR process. And I'll read the beginning of the resolution that just says that be it resolved that Michael Piscatelli, Michael Laster, Peter Brabant, Alan Lockwood, Christopher Sanita, Beth Beanie, Jacqueline Vandenberg, and Lisa Knowles are hereby certified as qualified lead evaluators of teachers, having successfully completed all of the requirements that are outlined below.
Can I have a motion to approve the certification of qualified lead evaluators for teachers? Rebecca, second. Gloria? Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Next is a certification of qualified lead evaluator for building principals under APPR, and that resolution is, be it resolved that Marie Wiles, Superintendent of Schools, is hereby certified as a qualified lead evaluator of building principals, having successfully completed all of the requirements outlined below.
Can I have a motion to approve the certification of lead evaluator for building principals? Nate, second. Kelly? Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. My next item is a contract dissolution. The resolution reads, it is hereby resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the agreement between the Guilderland Central School District and Kids Corner Child Care and Learning Center dated May 3rd, 2023 is hereby terminated effective August 17th, 2023.
Can I have a motion to approve the contract dissolution with Kids Corner? Kim, second. Judy? Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. The next is a request to approve a co-curricular club. And this is to form a co-curricular club at the middle school called Scratch Club. And Mrs. Sarah Idings will be the advisor.
Can I have a motion to accept the club approval for the Scratch Club? FMS, Gloria, second. Nate, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
9-0.
And my last item tonight is the ratification of the employee agreement with the Guilderland Employees Association. And it reads, be it resolved that the Board of Education authorizes the Superintendent of Schools to execute the proposed memorandum of agreement between the Guilderland Central School District and the Guilderland Employees Association of the Guilderland Central School District for the duration of the collective bargaining agreement, which is July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2026.
Can I have a motion to accept the contract ratification with the GEA? Rebecca, second. Blanca, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 9-0. Thank you, Dr. Wiles. Next, we have board committee reports. We'll start with policy. I'll turn it to Nate.
Yes, we had a meeting back on August 22nd. Some of those ones that were up for review tonight. We also discussed we are going to make some revisions to the dress code in light of some of the requests from students and others regarding sports attire. We're going to be reviewing that at the next meeting, which is next week, the 19th. We're also going to review. I just had it in my head. What was the other thing we're going to review? Taking into consideration some language from the board about the banning of books, and we're going to look at some of the language we already have in place and how we can beef that up to kind of better represent, potentially better represent how the district feels about actions taken by other districts or other communities and to ban books. So we'll take that into consideration at the next meeting as well, which again is next week, the 19th.
Thank you. Next, we have audit. I think we are meeting later this month, right, for the first time?
Tentatively September 27th at
At
8
8
a.m.
a.m. Thanks, Rebecca. And then business practices
We have not met yet.
and communications.
Our first meeting will be September 21st at 3 o'clock in the district office.
And DEI, I know the next meeting is next Wednesday,
The 20th?
20th at 7 p.m. Great, so we'll move on to public comment number 2. Linda, are there any more, or are there any public comments?
No.
Comment? No. Thank you. And then last, board issues, ideas, and sharing. Does anybody have anything to share?
I do.
Blanca?
I've had the pleasure of attending some of our sports events, even in the extreme heat. And I have noticed that some were canceled, some were not, some were moved to later in the evening. And so I just thought I would ask what the process is.
So Dave Austin is walking in
I would say just saw him walk by.
shortly here. I told him, he said, is 7:30 going to work? I said, I don't think so.
Hey, Dave.
So,
Perfect
Dave,
timing.
your timing, yes.
Perfect timing. I was just hoping you could speak a little bit to the process that we follow. I think some people in the community might think it's up to the coach exclusively. And I don't think that's the case.
Well, passing around heat index guidelines, which is kind of what we used to follow for heat. We had as hot of a start to our fall season last week as we've had in a long time, so it was difficult whether we trust. The guidelines that we're sharing are from NISBA. They are handed out to the coaches at our coaches meetings, so we do spend some time talking about that. You know, tough weather last week because it was hot and then we had storms hitting us right at the end of the day, you know, right at the opportune time. So you know, I work with our trainer, Rachel Shatney. Got this really cool thing called a wet bulb thermometer, which gives you accurate readings, and that's on page back of the sheet that I gave you. Is wet bulb readings and guidelines for those readings. So, so work with my trainer, communicate with our staff as best we can, and it was a hot start last week, but we followed the guidelines, and we were well within the guidelines. And wet bulb, we had that thing down at the turf field, so that was giving us an accurate reading from the turf field. And so it is hot, though. At the end of the day, no matter where we were on the guidelines, it was hot. So I'm sure some of the kids were having a tough time, especially because it's the beginning of the season and they're not quite tip-top shape yet. So, but we stayed in contact with our coaches, pushed some game times to 5:30, pushed some practice times to 5 o'clock or later. Some coaches, because we were going on projections at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, decided to be proactive and cancel. So projections are projections, and sometimes those projections go off. Having their way around, some of them made the decision to kind of cancel early. So that's kind of what happened last week on top of the storms and all of that. So it was a busy week. But
So,
any questions to the guidelines that I shared with you and where we were? And
so it sounds like there's discussion and it's not just up to each individual coach and
They're
there's
getting
guidance.
Yeah, they're getting direct guidance from me and Rachel, both through an email, and then I actually I text all of our coaches out. Some of those days, I think it was the hottest before we got the storm, so that was the off later than we did a couple days before that. So, those are the guidelines we follow. You know, the guidelines on page 1 is based on feel on WeatherBug. The issue with WeatherBug is it's not giving you a reading from the campus that we're on right now. In the case of Gilman, they're giving us a reading from Pine Bush, which is down closer to Colony. So the beautiful thing about the wet bulb thermometer is that gives us a reading accurately on hot again, probably not until the spring, obviously, but the spring athletes will have to deal with that. The good thing for the spring athletes is that's at the end of the year when it gets really hot and it had some time to bodies and yeah, no, it was a lot of back and forth with our trainer and our coaches. We were definitely on the same page, man. Doesn't mean it wasn't difficult for the kids, it was.
Thank you.
I gotta get back down to soccer game.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Any other board issues, ideas, and sharing?
I just wanted to say one thing. I got to see one of the outdoor learning pavilions that's almost completed at Gilliland Elementary, and it was beautiful. I'm so excited to be able to start using those. Do you think we'll be able to use them like in the fall, or?
Some of them will be ready in the fall. All of them could be ready in the fall,
Okay.
depending on how weather goes. But we already have all the furnishings for them. It's just a matter of getting the wiring set and putting the roofs on some, depending on where they are. But I'm hopeful we can use them this fall. I know at our next board meeting, we're hoping to do a more broad overview of where we are with our capital project, because a lot happened this summer. Some of it very visible, some of it very invisible. Cliff will be here and we'll give a big update.
And how about the timing on those learning pavilions? You're going to sign up in the office or something, or what's the deal?
So it'll be like the old days of signing out a computer lab, where it's going to be, they'll have to have a system in the building to sign out.
Yeah,
But otherwise, you're going to have a bit of chaos.
everybody's going to want to go at the same time.
I would want to be out there if I
Yeah,
could.
okay, thank you. That's what I figured, but I just thought
Yes.
I'd check. Yeah.
Any other board issues, ideas, and sharing?
Some of us got to go to the opening of the schools the other day, and I thought it was fantastic. The energy was great in the room, and from the orchestra students to the minibus.
Like the minibus, wasn't it?
I did like the minibus, and the presentation to the 20-year teachers and TAs and everybody else, bus drivers, and it was really great. A great morning. So thanks for putting on a nice event for our teachers to come back to school. Our school-related professionals.
Last thing, we passed the less process to meet, and it made me think of, do we need to circle back on?
Well, I was going to bring it up in my comment, but
Perfect.
so there was a mom, this was back in fall of '22, who came to ask about different food options, or having more variety of food options at the district. And then I think our food service director was new then, and so then I followed up in the spring. And then the last I checked was that the district was going to ask BOCES to pull together their food service directors in the area to see how they can expand options in a more of a comprehensive way, so it's not just our school. So I just wanted to follow up on that. And I thought of it when I saw the agenda because of the meat contract that we had. Just bring that up.
I don't know that they've met. I know they have a lot of changes at the BOCES level too,
Okay.
in terms of new leadership, but we're meeting on Thursday, so I can bring it to
Okay.
that group.
Great.
What school district has that relationship or that partnership with Terrace Kitchen?
It's just,
It's Niskayuna. Some
She's a
kind of
parent.
model like that would be fabulous.
I thought it was at the BOCES level as well. I think it might be a little bit higher conversations. Might be able to benefit
Tara,
from.
she's a district parent in Niskuna. That's part of the connection.
That doesn't mean she doesn't love Guilderland.
she's also on the business group association here. I don't know, that I was part of it, the business teachers that are working with like local business partners
I want to get involved in everybody.
to give opportunities to students here to learn about how to, I don't know, work in a business, run a business kind of thing. And she was one of the people on there. So, I mean, she obviously has a place in Guilderland.
A lot of us go there.
Okay, any other board issues, ideas, and sharing? We have a motion to adjourn. Kim, second. Katie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 9-0. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, Andy.
I think I had a 28-minute meeting one time. 30 minutes, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Record.
I know, I didn't say you were, and it's not a competition, I'm just saying.